See, we have to understand why these tariffs have been imposed. I personally feel that there are three reasons. One, Trump is not happy with India. He is not happy with India because we are a member of BRICS, and somehow in his head, he has got this notion that BRICS is an anti-America alliance, which is hell-bent on creating an alternative currency to the dollar. So because of that, he feels that India should not be a member of the BRICS, number one. Number two is, of course, Operation Sindoor and his so-called role in bringing about the ceasefire. Now, we have been saying right from the beginning that Trump had no role because we do not accept external mediation. This ceasefire was mediated directly between the DGMOs of Pakistan and India at the request of the DGMO of Pakistan. Trump has now said almost 30 times that it was he who got the two countries to step back from the brink, who stopped the nuclear conflagration in the subcontinent. So obviously, he is miffed that India has not acknowledged his role, whereas Pakistan has not only acknowledged his role, but has even nominated him for a Nobel Peace Prize. So that's the second reason. And the third is, this is part of his pressure tactics to get India to sign on the dotted line on the maximalist demands that the US is making with regard to access to our dairy and agriculture and GM crops. We have not caved in. And it is also in a way a signal to Russia, because he is also frustrated that he has not been able to get President Putin to agree to the ceasefire that Zelensky has agreed to. Of course, now they are meeting in Alaska on the 15th of August.
But will that ease some pressure?
If there is a positive outcome of the Alaska talks, then I'm 100% sure that the Russia sanctions will be off the table, because obviously Putin is not going to accept a ceasefire and yet be saddled with the economic sanctions.
Will it ease off any pressure? Because a lot of commentators are saying that this is a frustration of noble frustration of Trump, and some are saying that he's just a bully and he's just trying to bully. So how do you characterize him?
Look, Trump is a deal maker. And he has now made it his USP that he is the peacemaker, that he is the one who's bringing about. Look at the number of conflict situations that he has mediated in now, whether it is Thailand and Cambodia, whether it is Rwanda and Democratic Republic of Congo, whether it is Armenia and Azerbaijan. He has injected himself into each of these. And of course, he feels that the biggest one of these was the India-Pakistan one, because these two are nuclear powers. So from that point of view, Trump feels that he deserves credit. And Obama is the only American president to have got the Nobel Peace Prize. And Trump really wants to do one better than Obama. And that's why I think he has made no secret of his longing for that Nobel Peace Prize. And he is hoping that if he could not get it for these, if he is able to bring about a ceasefire between...
Our opposition is now gunning for the department which you used to work for, the Ministry of External Affairs. They say that diplomacy has totally collapsed in this case. How do you look at it?
Look, at the end of the day, ambassadors and diplomats are only implementers of foreign policy. They do not frame policy. And here I would not blame our diplomats at all. I think what has happened is Pakistan, through some intermediaries, has gotten the ear of the President of the United States. And that is why 2 visits by Asim Munir to Washington, the so-called deal with America on so-called oil reserves of Pakistan. And more importantly, I think Pakistan is now trying to position itself as the crypto king of South Asia. And there, through World Liberty Financial, in which Trump's family has stake, Steve Witkoff's family has a stake. Through that, I think Pakistan has managed to project an image of itself as a reliable partner. They handed over a terrorist who was responsible for the Kabul bombings. So all these things have led to Trump having a softer approach towards Pakistan. But that does not mean that, he has given up on India, or that India is now an adversary for him. I think, as I mentioned very early on, this is part of his pressure tactics, to secure a more favorable deal. India should not cave in because our strategic autonomy is non-negotiable.
Do you think even US is making a big mistake for their own consumers? Because ultimately it will transfer to consumers.
Oh, absolutely. I think eventually the tariffs that are being imposed, and look, US called India a tariff king. But now the tariff king in the world is the United States, because our average tariff is about 15.98%. The US tariff today is 18.4%. So it is now the tariff king of the world. But the fact is, tariffs are bringing in money. They'll bring in about $100 billion a year for the United States. But the issue is, eventually, who will pay for these tariffs? These tariffs will be paid for by American consumers. So what's going to happen is, this is going to ratchet up inflation in America. It's going to ratchet up prices in America. And I think that's when the chickens will come home to roost.
Now I will be diverted. Mr. Modi did a right thing by not caving in.
Oh, absolutely. Because if you cave in to a bully, then the bully will increase his demands, and then there will be even more demands on you. So I think we have done the right thing. And plus, you see, India is too large, too proud a country to become a camp follower of any other country. You know, our strategic autonomy has been the bedrock of our foreign policy right from the 1950s. And I don't think any government in Delhi can compromise on it.